Hey guys, my name is George and this is DealMirror. Today we're here with Reese from Treefort. How are you doing, Reese?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Awesome, awesome. Well, I'm here with Reese and we're doing a quick interview to let you guys know what Reese think and what Reese is going to go with in the future, just to see what the tools is going to come up with. So Reese, talk a little bit about you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So my name is Reese Lyons. I'm the CEO of Treefort. You may recognize me, some of you guys in the LTD community. I know this will probably start shouting about it, but I founded SemPilot, and we did a really great lifetime deal with SemPilot. And I suppose as we get through this this interview, we'll explain a little bit more about Treefort and how that came about. But about me, I started off as a web designer. Then I moved into developing solutions, finding problems in my designer workflow, and really kind of building creative ways to fix problems that I had in what I was doing. And if I came up with a problem, I'd look for one. And if it didn't exist, I might make a micro tool for that. And then that really developed into launching SemPilot initially, and then now growing that to over 2,000 users, and now we're moving on to Treefort as well. And we can manage both simultaneously because they work really, really well together. So yeah, really excited to be on and answer any questions, and hopefully get you involved in Treefort.
That's great. That's great, Reese. One of the most important things that we want to know is, why did you create Treefort? We know there's other options, but why did you create it?
Yes.
There must be a reason.
So it's an interesting story, actually. When we say create, we didn't actually create it. So the story is we built SemPilot, we launched SemPilot, we did the LTD, and then we were looking for a solution that would allow us to track the huge influx of customer requests that we had. We would have feedback requests, requests for different features, different ideas. We'd also have a lot of bug tracking, an internal to-do list that we want to prioritize and share with our team. But also share with customers and just kind of give them that visibility of what we're working on internally as a company, and also what was on our roadmap. Now, we started using Trello, which I'm sure everyone's going to be saying, how are you different to Trello, blah, 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 all that kind of thing. And what we found was that Trello is a superb tool for project management. It's one of the leading guys out there for that, but it really was a case of we would have to hack together those Trello boards, and they were never really fit for purpose. For example, customers would have to create an account they would have to create an account and register within our board to be able to submit ideas, and there was no upvoting unless we installed different power packs and all this kind of thing, and it was very, very disjointed. And I stumbled across a platform that Treefort essentially, but it was a side project of a really, really great designer called Dennis, and he works, I think he still works there at InVision, so the popular design company. And he started it as a side project, I believe, and then he didn't have the time to really take it to where it should have been. So yeah, we stumbled across Treefort, and then I ended up reaching out to him, kind of chatting about what his vision for the product was, and realized that it wasn't where he wanted it to be. And I thought we could take this and use it for SemPilot, but also make it available for all of the agencies out there working with clients, and all of the software companies like us that were running lifetime deals. And there was also some really, really big companies using it and continue to use it. Zapier, Box, Pandora. We've got some really nice enterprise and bigger companies on there. And we've also got a huge amount of tiny startups, 1 or 2 man bands that just use it for their own prioritization. So we ended up buying the company from him, buying the software. Really, really small, really small company. It wasn't a huge acquisition, but it was an exciting way to bring in this tool that we loved ourselves, and this is the best way to really bring it out and spread it for everyone else.
Well, that's really great. That's some pretty big companies you mentioned right now. Well, right now, Treefort is in a lifetime deal. You can grab it for $99, which is a steal. And I know you mentioned right now Trello. I know many people know Trello because it's one of the biggest companies out there for this. And they have a free version. But, it's super, super limited that it's almost useless. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's a great tool if you are just doing project management, drag and drop Kanban boards, all that kind of thing. We're not trying to beat them on that side because they've got that sewn up, and we're not going to argue a case for that. But where we come in is we have a few different things that we're really excited about. So the first being that we structure everything as a room, and these rooms are basically individual, I suppose you can call them boards if you want, just a reference, but each one could be branded as an individual business, an individual brand, and what we mean by that branding is you can have your own logo, your own color scheme, and also connect up your own domain name as well for individual rooms. So that means if you're an agency and you've got maybe you've got 3 different clients that you're working with, and each one of them wants to prioritize something in their business, or they want to reach out to their customers and do some research, find out what to build next, you can offer this as a tool to let them do that, and they can completely brand it as themselves. There's no Treefort branding, depending on what plan you get, what codes you stack, and it's all completely embeddable. So I don't want to throw all the features at you, but there's so many differences and so many improvements on the Trello model.
Yeah, that's what sets you apart from the other ones. I mean, even let's just mention like Canny and Trello, to even have scene name, have your own boards and all that. Is that even possible with them?
I don't think it is with Trello. Canny do offer that.
But how much is it a month?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. So Canny they start at $49 a month. And I think you get to track around 150 users. So if you've got a user base of 150, it's fine, but you're paying $50 a month. With Treefort, we start at $12 a month, and you can track unlimited users. Don't place any limitations on that, but obviously the lifetime deal is going to be a lot more valuable for you, especially when you start to stack codes and move further out that way. You're getting a huge amount of value, and the payback period of that compared to if you're using Canny or some of the other guys is really, really short.
It's a no-brainer, exactly. Once you start comparing prices, features, and what's coming next, I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Absolutely.
Cool. Hey, Reese, can we actually see the tool? Can you share?
Yes. Yeah, let me share my screen with you, and we will have a quick run through.
Yeah, it just shows like the quick tools.
Awesome.
Review. All right.
There we go. Cool. See my screen? I think I'm on the DealMirror page.
Yeah, we can see the deal right now.
Awesome. Great. So essentially, when you sign up for the tool, completely free to have a free trial. Don't ask for your credit card details. You can jump straight in. And there's a really nice walkthrough onboarding setup that guides you through everything. So make sure you pay attention to that.
Right.
But the tool itself really does speak for itself. Really, really simple. Got a super clean dashboard where we can view different rooms. So each one of these is an individual room name.
All right.
Now, a room is essentially a collection of topics that you want to gather feedback on. So they could be upcoming features. For example, I'll show you. This is our room Treefort roadmap.
All right.
If we click on that, a room can be a roadmap, or you can use it internally and have it as a bug to-do list. Or if you're a writing agency, you could have a list of upcoming articles that your clients want, and you can show them that, and they can vote on upcoming articles. There's so many different use cases. So don't worry if you're not a software company, not a SaaS company, not an agency. There's so many different use cases, all of which are on our website, and you can look through that and see if any of those match up for you, or drop me a message and I'll help out.
Great. Now, what we're seeing right now is really important. Is this your real roadmap?
This is our real roadmap. Yep. I thought it would be better just to jump in and show you it direct from here. So anything I change now will potentially, it'll be pushed to live. So if I mark something as done, it'll be notified everyone who's following that runs that. So essentially, each one of these is a topic. So for example, in this case, we're using the room as a roadmap.
Right.
So that means that each topic is going to be a upcoming feature. So for example, we've got iOS and Android apps. Someone submitted that. We added it to the roadmap. And then it allows the community, depending on the privacy settings, you can set it to private or public.
All right.
If it's public, that means anyone who has that link to the roadmap can jump in. They could submit ideas. They can comment, upvote, all that kind of thing, depending on the privacy rules, but we'll walk through that in a second. And then they can also suggest anything. And when those suggestions come through, they're not automatically made public. They're sent through to like a queue where you can see exactly what the suggestion is, and you can either approve it or disapprove it. So approve it or reject it. If you reject it, they'll be notified that it was rejected. If you approve it, then it'll be pushed to your public roadmap or your public room, and the person who submitted it will also be notified. So it's a really, really nice way to keep everyone involved. If someone submits an idea, they're going to want to know that you've acknowledged it and whether you're going to take it further or just ignore it. So really nice way to do that, and nothing gets lost as well. I mean, that was one of the big problems we had. We've always had with feedback and requests, where things would get lost through the cracks and we would lose track of different requests. So Treefort is a perfect solution for that.
Great. Now I see, we're talking about your roadmap right now. And
yes.
What you have right now is something you already have planned, or they're upvoting right now to see what you're going to do actually?
So these topics, they have different statuses next to them. So for example, the iOS and Android apps, if we click on it, we can see the different comments that people have submitted. And we can also see the comments that we've said as a company. So in this case, we've actually put it on hold just because we're working on improvements and new features for the actual web app. So we felt that an iOS or Android app wasn't really needed at this time.
Exactly.
Really, really simple. Click the three dots and you can rename the topic, and you've got a few different options such as pinning it, which will, just like in a Facebook group, it will pin that topic to the top of the roadmap or the room.
Okay.
We can also label it. So labeling is essentially color coding, and we can create our own color codes for that. Okay. Or of course, we can change the status of that, whether it's planned, up next, in progress. And one of the biggest things, one of the things that's coming out very, very soon is custom statuses. So they're not just fixed, you'll be able to change them and play around with that for your business.
Great. Now, what we're seeing right now, the view, is this the public view or is this your private editor view?
So this is the private editor view. Let me just move the zoom thing over and I will show you some of the other settings.
Sure.
So up here we've got three different buttons. First one being design. We give that a click. What we can do here is we can upload our own logo. We can choose the accent color, which will change the button and user interface color internally and also on the public board. And then we've just pushed this the other day is connect your own domain using CNAME. So all you do is pop in the domain that you want, and then you can set that up, CNAME to the record that we provide. Now this does require, I think it's 2 stacked codes we've put.
Okay.
For the CNAME itself. The logo and color scheme is available for everyone. Collecting your domain does require 2 codes, and then you can obviously have that all connected up to your own domain name. So it works really, really nicely.
That's pretty awesome that you can have your own CNAME, because if people really want to look really professional, or your corporation, you don't want to use other brands, you want to make branding for your own. So that gives you the option to actually use your own domain instead of going to use treefort.com. So that's pretty cool. Exactly,
yeah, and it's also really good for resellers, agencies that want to resell it, or brand it as themselves, whatever. So there's a few different ways of using it.
Great.
But we do give you full customizability options. So if you want to hide the logo, maybe you're embedding the roadmap and you've already got your logo in the navigation bar, you can just click hide logo, and then it'll hide it, and then it won't be public. So it works really nicely and integrates into 99% of settings that you want it to be in.
Well, that's great. I didn't know about that. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, we've tried to really add settings to a company and complement your existing website, your existing business. So you can either have your own domain linked to that, or you can actually embed it by clicking here, and we give you the embed code, fully responsive embed code. Copy that into an HTML element in your website or your app or your SaaS or whatever, and then it's all there for you. I can possibly give you an example of the SendPilot one. I think I'm all logged out of that, but
don't worry.
We've got it in SendPilot as well. So we've got a little icon up the top that says roadmap. Click that, and then it pops up the embedded SendPilot roadmap, all branded and ready to go. So it works really, really nicely, and all the features work as well.
Wow, so that option right there can be used without CNAME. So even by one code,
yep.
Use the embed. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you don't want to spring for the stacking 2 codes, or you don't actually want to use CNAME, you can embed it straight into your embed the room straight into your website or whatever, and obviously that domain will be hidden because it's an embed directly in your website or your app.
Great. Okay. Cool option.
Middle button we have is settings. So these provide a few different customizability options depending on your use case. And these apply to the public room. So if your room is set to public, i.e. other people can access it, we've got a few different options like allow commenting. Some people want that disabled, some people want it enabled.
Right.
Allowing attachments, so users, visitors can upload files, upload images. Maybe if you're an agency and you're saying, hey, we've got these different ideas, share some logos that you'd like us to kind of copy or mimic or base our designs on, or something like that. They can upload attachments. Unlimited storage, there's no limitations on storage or anything like that, so feel free to upload as you need.
Cool.
And then a few different options. Allow suggesting topics, so people can suggest topics, or they can't. If it's just a fixed roadmap and you don't want people submitting ideas, you can disable that. And then other few things like anonymous voting, hiding the descriptions and the author, and that kind of thing. So what we found is it works really well. Yeah, exactly. Super flexible. We didn't want it to be rigid, so we obviously took the original beta version that we acquired, and we've completely overhauled it and pushed some really nice improvements that make it a lot more customizable for most businesses.
Great.
So let me see if I can show you our public one. So if we click on the cog icon up here, we've got a few different tools like editing the title and description, creating our own labels for the color code system, and of course a view public link, which will take us to our public Treefort roadmap. So this is what the public will see when you embed it in your application or you link to it.
All right.
So really nice design. We've only got the one fixed style and design for this. There are softwares out there that will give you hundreds of different templates, but we found that this is the best one for driving conversions, driving interactions. So we just wanted to put all of our energy and focus onto making this really great. And as we said, everything's fully brandable. You can view it in real time. Click the custom branding settings up here. You can hide the logo, play around with those colors and see how it all reflects directly on the public version. And things like hide descriptions and author. If we turn that on, it's going to hide all of that. So if you're embedding it in your website, you can play around with all of that and really make it fit to the solution that you want.
That's pretty great. It's a pretty awesome tool. It's at a really great price. If I can share my screen now, if you can just...
Yep. Let me stop my share. There you go.
So we thank you really much for this. And just let me give a little talk right here. I was checking out the candy price, which is crazy, $50 a month.
Yep.
Hold on. I'm going to show the deal.
Oh, that's 100 tracked users, yeah. So, if you've got 1,000 tracked users, it's going to get quite expensive. With us, it's super cheap. We don't put any limitations on tracking users. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so we thank you, Reese, for having us here and doing this interview with us. And all the information they've given us is really important to know that we have all that and what's coming. So that's pretty cool. Now, if you guys want to grab the deal, it's $99. Starts off at $99. It's Treefort. You get a whole bunch. Like you said, if you're an agency, you can use the customized, you can embed it, you can use the CNAME, and these are the plans that are available. As you mentioned, right here, we got the $99. This is the $198. It's just depending what the stack you want and how many businesses you need to have there. So you can see team members, it's going to change. Rooms is also going to change. And that's what Treefort has. If you want to say anything, Reese, before we leave? Yeah,
just to emphasize that, obviously the more code you stack, the more things you unlock. So for example, 2 codes plus unlocks the no Treefort backlink and also white label CNAME. So if you are looking to completely white label it and have no references to Treefort, you will need that 2 code stack onwards. And then one thing that we've also got coming out very soon is single sign-on or integrated user tracking. So what that means is if you are a software company, for example, and you've got a user base, you can actually, we're creating a little JavaScript snippet that you put into your website, and it will allow whenever one of your users submits an idea or upvotes, it'll link it to their existing user account, their name and email and all that kind of thing, all automatically without any extra sign-in. So you can track who's saying what and what people have voted on and all that kind of thing. So that's coming out in the next couple of weeks, but really exciting. We've got a huge roadmap, so many requests coming in. So yeah, please do give us a try, even if it's a free trial, and then looking forward to hearing your feedback. So thank you for having me.
Thank you, Reese. Thank you for having us here. And this interview went great. Well, guys, thank you. Bye.
Take care.